A Karen demanded I move my truck from her public parking spot and said it wasn't her problem I'd been using it. So I parked there every single day for 6 months. I'd been parking in the same street spot outside my apartment building for 3 years. Public street, no restrictions. First come, first serve. Every morning at 6:30 a.m., I'd leave for my construction job and return around 4 p.m. to find the same spot usually available. Then Linda moved into the building across the street and decided that spot belonged to her. I came home Thursday to find her standing next to my usual spot with orange cones blocking it. She informed me this was her parking spot now and I needed to find somewhere else. I pointed out it was a public street and nobody owned the spots. She crossed her arms and said she'd lived here 2 weeks and noticed I parked there every day. So clearly I thought I owned it too. I asked her to move the cones. She said no. I moved them myself and parked anyway. Friday morning, I found a note on my windshield. This is my spot. Park here again and there will be consequences. Signed with a smiley face. I crumpled it up and went to work. That afternoon, Linda was waiting by the spot when I pulled up. She stepped directly in front of my truck and refused to move. I honked. She planted her feet wider. I called the police non-emergency line while she screamed at me through my windshield about respect and boundaries. The officer who arrived explained to Linda that public street parking cannot be claimed or reserved by residents. She demanded he make me park somewhere else since I was harassing her. He told her to move out of the street before she got hit by a car. She finally stepped aside but screamed after me. You've been parking here for years, but it's not my problem you got too comfortable. Find a new spot. Those words made my decision easy. I worked construction but had been saving to buy a second vehicle. That weekend, I bought a used sedan from my coworker for $2,400 cash. Monday morning, I parked my truck in the spot at 6:30 a.m. before leaving for work in my new sedan. My truck stayed parked there all day while I was gone. Linda couldn't park there because my truck lived there now. When I got home, she was in the street taking photos of my truck and calling parking enforcement. They told her the same thing the cop did. Public street, no violations, nothing they could do. She threatened to have it towed for being abandoned. They said vehicles can stay parked on public streets for up to 48 hours before being considered abandoned. So every other day, I moved my truck forward 3 feet and back into the same spot. Never abandoned. Always legally parked. Always in her spot. Linda tried everything. She called the police 6 times in 2 weeks, claiming my truck was blocking her access. Each time, officers confirmed I was legally parked and told her to stop wasting their time. She put notes on my windshield daily. First polite requests, then threats, then insults about my truck being an eyesore. She tried blocking me in with her own car, but I just called a tow truck for her since she was actually blocking a legally parked vehicle. Cost her $280 to get her car back from impound. She contacted the building manager of my apartment complex, demanding they make me stop. He laughed and told her he had no authority over public street parking. She started a petition to make the spot permit only parking. Needed 60 signatures from residents on our block. She got 8. One of them was her own signature written twice in different pens. My neighbors started bringing me coffee when they saw me moving my truck every other morning. Mrs. Kowalski from next door said Linda had been harassing her about parking too, and she was glad someone was standing up to her. The guys at the coffee shop started calling my truck the Monument because it never moved from that spot except for maintenance rotations. Linda's frustration became neighborhood entertainment. She'd stand at her window watching my truck for hours, put up curtains that faced the street so she wouldn't have to look at it, then immediately opened them again to monitor the spot. She tried parking behind my truck to box it in, but that just got her another parking ticket for blocking someone in. 3 months in, she started leaving passive-aggressive gifts. A toy car with a note saying maybe this would fit better elsewhere. A parking manual with the public street section highlighted. A self-help book about letting go. 6 months after this started, I came home to find Linda's apartment had a for rent sign in the window. Her car was packed full of boxes. She saw me pull up in my sedan and walked over before I could get out. She looked exhausted and defeated. You win, she said quietly. I'm moving because I can't stand looking at your truck anymore. Are you happy? I shrugged. It's not my problem you couldn't accept public street parking rules. You could have parked anywhere else on this entire block for 6 months. She started crying and called me petty. I reminded her she'd put cones out to claim public property and told me my 3 years of parking there wasn't her problem. She left the next week.